Triple H has confirmed that WWE Monday Night Raw will be uncensored when it moves to Netflix in 2025. He said this on this morning's edition of the Pat McAfee Show, confirming this. We're going to hear from what Triple H had to say. Take a listen to it. I'm going to break it down. We're also going to talk about a major WWE return that could be in the works. A former world champion may be returning soon. All that much more coming up right here in this video, so be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. All right, let's first talk about this news that has taken the internet by storm this morning, that being Triple H this morning on the Pat McAfee Show discussing the move to Netflix for Monday Night Raw, which is happening in early 2025. And with that, a big change in the way that content is going to be portrayed on the show. Let's take a listen to exactly what Triple H had to say.
In the fall, as the shows shift around, and then once we get to Netflix is a completely different animal. It's a streaming service. How are commercials going to work? How are breaks going to work? What's the length of time? What are the restrictions? What are not restrictions? You know, like right now, it just as an example of us being on Fox, and if the crowd chants "Holy shit" or something much worse, they just take that audio. Sometimes they take the picture and the audio off, and it's just black screen.
Oh yeah, you're talking about The Rock.
Yeah. Well, the Rock.
There was a big message being delivered, and you guys just want the complete nothing. Remember, that was your decision.
Yeah. Look, The Rock comes in and is sort of kind of can't tell The Rock what to do, right? Like, what are we going to tell him? So he does what he does, but we won't have those issues. Netflix, right? The ability to be live globally, the ability to have everything seen all at once everywhere. It's a game-changing moment, and I think in many ways, not to disparage other partners because we want to be everywhere, but that's sort of where the world is heading, right? Is
Triple H confirming that Raw's pretty much going to be uncensored moving forward as soon as they get to Netflix. I mean, look, there are going to be people who say, oh man, they're going to be dropping the F-bomb every single week on Raw and sensationalizing this into something that, is not true. But here's the truth of really what Triple H is saying. He's saying that this opens up room for WWE to be a little bit more creative, a little bit more raw in the spirit of the name of the show, and a little bit more uncensored than they have been. He mentioned that, on SmackDown a lot of times, because they are on network television and the restrictions on network TV compared to cable are just night and day. Network TV, you cannot do anything that is even close to saying horrible curse words like the F word or S word or whatever. With, cable, you can get away with saying shit every now and then. You can get away, sometimes saying the F word, but the idea that, they're going to be saying the F word, it's going to become this MA show, I don't think is necessarily true. I think this opens the door for those moments to happen more frequently than they have been. And we're not going to get things like The Rock cutting a promo and then half of it is bleeped out or, taken out and cut out because we can't hear what he's saying. And it's going to make those specific moments way more powerful than they have been. And I think that more than anything is important. It is not, I don't need to hear someone say shit to know that they're angry. I don't need to hear someone curse up a storm for me to be into a show. The cursing does not make a good show. What it allows, though, is for your show to be more authentic. Because the reality is, a lot of the times when people are mad, they will curse. A lot of the times when they are in a blood feud with someone and they are, when they're ready to go and they're ready to beat the living crap out of someone, they're going to curse. The UFC is the perfect model of this. Those press conferences are not safe for work. They are not safe for children. And it adds this element of almost gritty realism, to those shows. And I think we're going to see a little bit more of that over time incorporated with Monday Night Raw. And look, as far as like where it goes in the future, I could totally see like even something to the effect of an hour, like maybe the last hour of Monday Night Raw is like when you get a lot of the really like spicy stuff. And I'm not saying spicy, it's not going to be like Attitude Era, you know, like all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be more so like, you know, like, hey, you want to F around? Let's F around. I'm not taking none of your bullshit no more. Like hearing stuff like that. And I think there is an audience that's going to be brought in by that kind of and brought in by that grittiness and that realness. The issue is though, and I think this is where sometimes people like kind of, I'm not going to say overstep, but sometimes they get it wrong. I don't think that it's necessary for someone to curse in order to have a great show. But what I do and what I hope to see is when it does happen, it is meaningful. It is during times where, you know, you would expect that to happen, where someone who knows and understands they're on TV throws professionalism out the window and says, nah, I don't care about the cameras. I don't care about these fans. I don't care about my boss. I don't care about nothing. Find me all you want. This is what it is. This is how I feel. And that, to all the fans, is going to suspend disbelief. It is going to make what we're watching more and more engaging. And for WWE, that's exactly what you want to do. And I think that is the perfect way to kind of strike that balance. And I'm just saying, look, it is also just true. Like he said it in there, the grittiness, the realness, you know, that is where like entertainment has been headed. And look at some of the biggest shows out there. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, The Boys, you know, Breaking Bad like 10 years ago. Like all the shows of the last like decade plus, the best shows have had that real sense of grittiness where, you know, like they're not saying the F word every time, but, you know, they're not afraid of it either. And I think that is exactly what we will see. That is probably what is going to happen as WWE, you know, Monday Night Raw moves forward. Let me know what you guys think as we move forward to our next and final topic. Let's talk about a former WWE World Champion returning. That World Champion is none other than Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley may be returning to WWE soon. This according to a Fightful Select report. Here is an excerpt from that report aggregated by Wrestle Purists saying the following, and I quote, WWE sources had indicated that they have things constructed so that Rhea Ripley can slide in and return whenever she's ready, even in a non-wrestling capacity. There was a hope that she could appear on screen in some capacity ahead of SummerSlam if all went well. That is the report courtesy of FightfulSelect.com. Go read the full report over on their website. But in short, I think this kind of confirms one thing that we have speculated, and that being that while Rhea Ripley's injury, you know, is bad and horrible, and it's going to take her a while to recover from it, there are storyline elements to this that they can play into. And I think, you know, for me, and it goes without saying, like, some of the best stuff on WWE TV right now is this stuff between Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. It is, you know, the right type of campy. It's the right type of soap opera, and it adds a little bit more variety to the show. And it's just engaging, and the way they've told it, I think, has been great. And you know what else is going to be great? When Rhea Ripley returns, fully healthy, and beats the ever-living crap out of both of them. I truly believe that while I would love to see Rhea, and I know 100% she is capable of coming back and coming back strong and cutting great promos, because she is one of the most over people on the entire roster. She is, you know, like, as far as a personality and a promo right now, like, man, she's right up there with the best of them, just because when she goes out there, oh my God, the confidence that she exudes and the vibe that she has right now is unlike anything else in professional wrestling. She could very easily come out there, cut promos, and be over and, you know, advance the story with a sling. We all know that. But for me, and again, going back to like me being a little bit of a sicko, I would love to see this kind of storyline play out as Liv Morgan has basically kind of taken Dominic Mysterio because, Dom needs guidance. He's a follower. He's not a leader yet. And she takes over the Judgment Day. And in the end, Rhea Ripley at 100% comes back and reclaims her stake, not only to her group, the Judgment Day, not only to her WWE World Championship, but also to her Dom. Because at the end of the day, Rhea's the Dom and Dom is anyway. You get what I'm saying. But I think that could be a great story to tell. And that moment of Rhea absolutely beating the crap out of Liv Morgan is going to be like one of the most replayed moments, I think, in wrestling history if they play it right. Again, we'll see what this means. Whether or not she is getting involved in SummerSlam in some capacity, I think depends on where the storyline is. We're still at a point as of this recording where Dom has been pretty reluctant. He's like thinking about he doesn't know what he's going to do. He's just a poor young little wee Dom. So we'll see where this progresses and where Dom is by the time SummerSlam rolls around. But my guess is I think SummerSlam may be a little too early, but it also depends on where Rhea Ripley is with her injury prognosis. And, of course, we wish Rhea Ripley the best of health and the best in her recovery from that injury. You hate to see something like that happen. She was the most over woman on the roster by far when she left. I would argue the most over person on Raw, in my view, when she left. And unfortunately, things happen. It is wrestling. It was a freak incident. What are you going to do? But, guys, you know what I want to do? I want to hear from you. What do you think is going to happen in the comments section? Is Rhea Ripley going to return? Is she going to beat the ever-living crap out of Liv Morgan or Dominic Mysterio, or hell, both of them? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you haven't already done so, do me a big-time favor. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. And until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.